this Omar Vision tutorial today, I'm going to go over how to use normals to kind of control the direction a vector goes in. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off a new project. I got better explain what I'm doing better. Um, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the normals on a mesh, on a voxel more specifically, to determine which voxel I selected, and also to determine where I would add a voxel in a voxel grid situation. So what I'm actually going to do here is just display one cube on the screen and use the sides of the cube to show you how I could find the center of the cube I clicked on and the center of a cube that I would add to the side of the current cube. Now to show the center of a cube space, I'm going to have to be able to render a cube transparently, but also I just want to show like, let's see here. Let's show a cube here on the screen. Okay, so here's a cube, a white cube on the screen. And to see inside the cube to the center of it, I must make a material that's transparent. Create material transparent. So here I will say transparent, and then I will just turn down the alpha so you could see through. Let's see how that looks as a cube. Okay, you could see through, but the cube is kind of solid, right? So anyway, that'll be the material. What I want to do is like I want to see inside the cube, so I'm going to have to render both sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the lightweight render pipeline so that I could render both sides, because that's a special kind of shader. So let me just go ahead to the package manager window, and on all packages, find the lightweight render pipeline in here. Is it alphabetical? Here you go. See, here you go. There you go. And I'll press install. So that's installing. And it's almost done. Come on, finish it up. Finish it up. There we go. Close that. See, it says remove now, so it's installed. Close it. And now let's take this cube. Let's take this material. And let me just make a new one here. Oh, you know what? First I have to make I installed the lightweight render pipeline, but this project is not using the lightweight render pipeline yet. So what I'm going to do is let me create an asset rendering lightweight render pipeline. Let me create a pipeline asset. So LRP, I'll call it. And then I will tell my project, edit project settings. Here in the graphics thing, I'll just tell it to use the lightweight render pipeline. Okay, double click on that. And let's get this cube here, control. Let's get the camera focused on. Oh, well, I guess I gotta make a new material. That one's not gonna work anymore. That was from the other pipeline, the standard. So let me make a new material, and this will be my transparent material. And as you can see with this material selected, this now says shaders lightweight render pipeline. And right here I want to say transparent. And then I could set the transparency level there, the alpha level. And you should update yourself. Yeah, there you go. Are you doing this? No. Okay, so that's just viewing from the front. Then I could view from the inside. And then I could view from both the inside and the outside. That's kind of... Let me change this to specular. There you go. Now you can kind of see how it's like rendering both sides there. All right, so that's my material. And now let me throw this material onto the cube. Boom. There. Now I kind of have a cube that I'm seeing in and out of. All right, it's like I can see right through it. Okay, so let me just put this as the center. Let me select the camera, Control Shift F. All right, so we have that view. This is the cube. All right, so now we have a cube, and the cube has normals that kind of come off on the sides here. That this is not the normals, but these are kind of like the way the normals would face. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a script that I'm going to write. When I click on the side of a cube, it's going to show right where I clicked on the cube. And then I'm going to have a point outside and a point inside the cube. The point inside the cube, I want it to be right in the middle of the cube. All right, because when I make a voxel world, every voxel is one unit. And I want the unit's location in the middle. And then I also want to be able to determine a voxel that would be placed right here beside it. So I want the point of the middle of the voxel if it were right here on this side. So let me start and let me make a script here that I'm going to be attaching to this cube. And I don't know what I'm going to call it. Just call it vector direction. All right, I'll call it vector direction. And let's open up Visual Studio to see it. All right, so here's Visual Studio with this new vector direction script, and I'm just going to take out stuff, and then I'm going to enter in the code that we want to use. All right, so I popped in some code here by magic code processing. All right, so what I got here is this vector direction script, which I'm going to add to the cube. I need a camera so I could do ray casting. And then I got 3 prefabs because I'm going to have something that I'm going to show where I hit on the cube. Then I'm going to have the point in the center of the cube that I'm trying to find. And I'm going to have a point that's the neighbor cube on the side that I hit. All right. In the update function here, I'm going to wait until the user presses the left mouse button. All right. When they press the left mouse button, then I'm going to create an array that goes from the camera to the mouse. And then I'm going to cast the ray with physics.raycast and see if it hits anything. Okay, if it hits anything, then the hit variable here is going to get populated up with all the information about what it hit, and this will equal true. So here, the first thing I'm going to try to figure out is where we hit, and I'm going to instantiate an object right where we hit on the surface of the cube. And then I'm going to have another one here that's going to show the center of the cube that we hit. Center of the cube or the voxel, and then a third one, I'm going to instantiate an object right on the neighbor side of the cube that I hit. Okay, now they're going to use this function called Quantize Point because as you'll see, I'm not going to hit dead center. I'm going to hit anywhere on the cube, and then Quantize Point is going to take the position and it's going to like center it into the center of a voxel unit. This is the math that's going to do that. All right. This math is going to depend on things being a whole number though for my cube position. Like so, let's see now. This is the script. Make sure I save it. Now we go back into Unity. It's processing the script here. Let me select the cube and attach the script to it. Bam. So we have a couple of things it wants, right? The camera, I can give it that. But now I need 3 prefabs here. So let's make a prefab for the spots that we're going to mark on. So let's see. Let's create a 3D object. Let's create other little cubes to be our prefabs, but I did say little, so this is a pretty big one. Let me make it smaller by 0.05, 0.05, and 0.05. You guys could still see that, right? Yeah, I could see it. Thank you very much. This is going to be what I'm going to use to mark my hit point, like where did I click on the surface. So I'll drag and make that a prefab for a hit, and then I could remove it from the scene. And then on cube, let's see, that's going to be my prefab hit. I'll give it there. Okay. So let's see in the script, this will be my prefab hit. And just temporarily right now, let me remove these guys and see if the hit part is going to work. So let me just comment these guys out from my script and check the hit part. So save and run. Run. So I'm running my game and I click on the side of my cube and you can see that the hit point gets displayed right where I click. So that's good. That's step 1. Now let me make another prefab that's going to say inside the cube. So let me make another prefab, and let's make it a cube again. What the heck, you know? And this is going to be the center of the cube, and we'll make this one small as well. Oh, hold on there. There you go. The center of the cube. Let's have it be scale of 75% of the space, so we could see if it's fitting in the cube, you know, visually nice. All right, and it's gray. Okay. Excuse me. So drag that. That's going to be a prefab too. So delete you. And see, that's going to be my center. Okay. Good, good, good. Save. And now we need another one. Let's say what the neighbor is going to be. So the neighbor is going to be a neighboring cube. Let's see, game object, 3D object. Let's make that a cube as well. And let's size it as a point. I don't know, just 0.4, 0.4, 0.4. All right, and this is going to be wherever my neighbor is. So let's call this neighbor on the side that I clicked. Neighbor. All right, drag and drop. Bam. And delete. All right, so cube here. Now I could define the neighbor. Oh, here you go. Neighbor. There. Now let's see. Let's do one other thing. Let's make all these different prefabs have a different color, like especially the neighbor one that's going to be the cube on the side. So let me just create another material. Bam. I'll call it mat 1. All right, and I'll just give it a different color, like red. All right, there. And then I could tell the neighbor to use red. Is that working? Let's do it. Yeah. Okay, it worked. All right, so to find all the things it's asking for, let me press play and let me click. And nothing's happening but the hit point because I have to put code back in. So let's put code back in for the center point and see if that works. Here is the code for the center point. And let's see, now that I put that code back in, let's run it with that in there. So I'm gonna have the hit point and the center point. So wherever I click on a side, boom, a voxel comes out in the center. Doesn't matter where I hit. All right, so let's see if I do that again and I hit it from the top. Boom, boom. Ooh, wait, I got one and it came up on top here. How'd that happen? It's probably because I clicked on the spot that I clicked. So let's take off the colliders on these guys here. Second here. Get it? I'm taking the colliders off of my prefabs so that the only thing I can click on is this cube. All right, so now I'm going to press play. And there I go. There's one in the middle. Let me start it again. And what happens if I click on the top? There we go. It's one in the middle. And it doesn't matter where on the side I click for these things. The quantize point thing is always going to find that space in the center. All right. And just to show you that that's what the quantize point is doing, if I ran this position thing, well, let me explain this code here first. As we know, the hit point is where that first box is showing up. All right, like wherever I click on the surface of this cube, that's the hit point. Okay, that little mark right there. Then the center cube that gets rendered in the middle, that's like the center of the cube that I clicked on. How does it figure out what the center of the cube is from wherever I click on the side? It takes the hit point, which we saw is that, you know, that spot, and then there's a normal on the surface where I clicked. I click something on this side of the cube, the normals are pointing out this way, okay? And the normals are always in a unit of 1. So the length of the normal is always like 1. And the length of my cube is a 1. I make everything a 1. When I'm going to make my voxel grid world, all the voxels are going to be a size of 1. So I'm going to take advantage of that and the fact that the normals are 1. and I'm going to calculate a normal from where I clicked. It's pointing out this way, and I'm going to reverse that by timesing the normal by a negative to go in the other direction. Then once I go in the other direction, I could make a point in there. So let me just show you here. If let me use a prefab hit for this, so it's small. Did I spell that right? No, I didn't. Prefab hit. So it's a small object too. And then I'm not going to do the quantize. All right, I'm not going to do the quantize. So save. And here, when I press click, the normal is just a minus 0.1. So it's very close to where I was on the surface here. As a matter of fact, let me just explain something else to you. If I had the normal and I didn't multiply by minus 0.1, so I just had the hit point plus the normal, how far off is the normal from the hit point? Let's see that. So I press play again, and I click here, and the normal is 1 unit in this direction, or if I click on this side, it's 1 unit up, or this side, it's 1 unit this way, okay? So if I wanted to go halfway forward, then I would take the normal and multiply by half. So 0.5f. Okay. And I press play. And I click, and now that's halfway forward. All right. And then by the same means, I could even just go 0.1 forward. Save and play. Which is even closer. And then I could even go in the other direction, which is what I did. I said minus 0.1. I save, and then I press play. And now wherever I click, it's inside the cube. That's what I wanted to. I wanted to get a point inside the cube space. All right, now once there's a point inside the cube space, now I could use the this little quantize point function here to round off that point inside the cube space to the center of the space. So that's basically what this is doing. It's rounding off that point inside the cube space to the center of the space. All right, and we saw how that worked. I'll just show it again. I hope I saved the script. There you go. And now wherever I click on whatever side, sorry, in the game window, it's the same center space. All right. So now what we're going to do to find a point on the neighboring side of the cube is instead of multiplying by a negative, we're going to multiply by just a positive to make sure that we're in front of the side, okay? So now this one's going to multiply by a positive instead of a negative to make sure that we're in front, and then it's going to add that. Let's change this guy back to prefab center, okay? Here we go. Let's press play. Click. So that's in there, and this is neighboring side right there. All right. So if this is Minecraft and I wanted to add a cube, I would just click and add a cube there, or add a cube on this side, and of course it would be as big as the one that I just added. And then of course I could remove a cube by using the other function here, which is the negative or the positive. So it's just a little bit of code here. And that's how I can determine what voxel I'm hitting in my voxel grid when you see one of the other videos. So just wanted to explain that I'm using the normal, and I just multiply by a minus or a plus to go on that normal in a direction to pick the right voxel. And then to actually pick the voxel and get the center of that voxel, I use this math over here. This is not Unity's math. This is the regular C# math. And the reason I'm using C#'s math is so I could have midpoint rounding function to get the midpoint of the space. Okay, so that is the code. This is the project running, and there you go. Thank you.